This video clearly shows a rule has been broken.
This video clearly shows someone was treated unfairly. This cannot be ignored.
My 16-year-old daughter was hyperventilating on our bathroom floor, phone clutched in trembling hands, showing me a video I never should have had to see. "Take off the jacket, now!" Patricia Drummond's voice, cold, clinical, absolutely certain of her authority. "Please, I just want to leave. Remove the shirt, turn around. This is documentation." 43 seconds of my child crying, partially undressed, trapped in a locked changing room while the board chair recorded every moment. I'm David Mitchell, District Attorney, 18 years prosecuting sexual predators, child exploitation cases, people who weaponize authority against the vulnerable, and I just watched someone do exactly that to my daughter. If you've ever felt that moment when protective rage transforms into something colder, more surgical, when you realize someone just committed a crime they don't even understand, then you know what happened next in my mind. Because this wasn't an HOA dispute. This was federal. The enforcer in crimson thought she was enforcing dress codes. She'd actually just produced child exploitation material, filmed it herself, and handed me the evidence. Let me explain why this matters so much. Why this video, this violation, cut deeper than just rules and community standards. 2 years ago, Lily was sexually assaulted at a party. 16 months of therapy. 18 months rebuilding her confidence, her sense of bodily autonomy, her ability to exist in her own skin without fear. My wife Rachel is a trauma counselor. She guided our daughter back from the edge, piece by fragile piece. Lily finally smiled again, finally felt safe again, finally started training for college volleyball scholarships at the Community Fitness Center, the place that was supposed to represent strength, growth, healing. Then the clipboard queen cornered her in a locked changing room and ordered her to strip while recording every second. My daughter, who'd spent 2 years learning that no one had the right to her body, was told by an authority figure that she had no choice, that compliance was mandatory, that her tears and protests meant nothing. The PTSD regression was immediate. Lily stopped eating, stopped sleeping, started having the same nightmares she'd had right after the assault. Rachel recognized it instantly, complete psychological re-traumatization. I watched my wife hold our shaking daughter on the bathroom floor and understood with absolute clarity. This woman hadn't just violated community rules. She'd weaponized authority to exploit a vulnerable child. She'd recorded it. She'd created evidence of her own crime, and she had no idea what was coming because I don't do civil lawsuits. I don't negotiate with HOA boards. I don't file complaints or threaten litigation. I identify federal crimes. I coordinate with the FBI. I build prosecutions that end with handcuffs and prison sentences. The tyrant in heels thought she'd broken another family into submission. Thought she'd documented another teenager's non-compliance. Thought her position as HOA president protected her from consequences. She was wrong about all of it. That video she recorded so carefully, so clinically, so certain of her authority, that 43-second piece of documentation, it was about to be shown in federal court as Exhibit A in a child exploitation case. But first, I needed to understand the full scope, because predators like this, they don't stop at one victim. They never do. I kissed Lily's forehead, promised her this would be handled, and started making calls. By morning, I'd know exactly how many children the officer of rules had targeted, and by week's end, federal agents would know too. Rachel sat with Lily through the night while I worked. My wife's training as a trauma counselor meant she knew exactly what our daughter needed: safety, presence, the absolute certainty that someone was protecting her. I needed to know if Patricia Drummond had done this before. At 6 a.m., I called the fitness center manager. He answered on the fifth ring, voice thick with sleep. "Tom, it's David Mitchell. I need to ask you about HOA compliance checks in the women's changing room." Silence, long enough that I knew. "Tom, Mr. Mitchell, I can't really discuss. My daughter was cornered in that room yesterday, ordered to remove her clothing while being filmed. So, you're going to discuss it, or I'm going to subpoena every incident report you've filed in the past 2 years." His exhale was shaky. "She's done it before. The board chair. Multiple times. Always teenage girls. Always claims it's dress code enforcement." My hand tightened around the phone. "How many?" "I don't have exact numbers, But families have complained. Some left the community. I drove to the fitness center before sunrise. The building was empty, security lights casting long shadows across the pool area. I walked into the women's changing room, stood where Lily had stood, saw the bench where she'd been trapped. On the wall outside, a bronze plaque. Strength, community, growth. Mocking words now. I photographed everything. The angles, the layout. The single exit the tyrant in heels had blocked. Evidence for later. Back home, I started calling neighbors. Casual questions. Hey, didn't the Hendricks family move last year? Any idea why? Tom Hendricks answered my call with suspicion. David, it's 7 a.m. I know, I need to ask about Maya. His voice went cold. What about her? Patricia Drummond, the changing room. Tom, it happened to Lily yesterday. The silence stretched so long, I thought he'd hung up. Then, Jesus, David, I'm sorry. We should have said something. Should have warned people. Tell me what happened. Maya was 14, training for swim team. The clipboard queen started showing up during her practice sessions, watching, taking notes. One day she followed Maya into the changing room, locked the door, demanded Maya remove her swimsuit to verify it. Met facility standards. His voice cracked. Maya was terrified, complied because she didn't know what else to do. Found out later Patricia had filmed the whole thing. What did you do? Complained to the HOA board. They dismissed it. Said Patricia was within her authority as president to enforce community standards. We sold our house 6 months later because Maya couldn't handle being in Silver Lake anymore. Couldn't even drive past the fitness center without panic attacks. How many other families, Tom? That I know of? 3, maybe 4. The Castellanos, twin daughters, the Prasads, 1 daughter, the Morgan family, all left within the past 2 years. All had teenage girls. All had incidents with the officer of rules. I made more calls, tracked down the Castellanos. Mrs. Castellano answered, heard my name, and her voice turned to ice. If you're calling about HOA business, my daughter was victimized by Patricia Drummond yesterday. Same way your daughters were. I'm the district attorney, Mrs. Castellano. I'm building a case. I need to know what happened to your girls. She was quiet for a long moment, then she started talking. Her twin daughters, 13 at the time, both targeted. Separate incidents, same changing room, same demands, same recordings. Both girls developed severe anxiety. One still in therapy 3 years later. We reported it, she said. The board did nothing, said we were overreacting, that Patricia was just enforcing rules, so we left. Would you testify in a federal case? Federal? Mr. Mitchell, what exactly are you planning? Justice, I said. For your daughters, for mine, for every girl that woman has violated. Then yes, absolutely yes. By noon, I had 4 families, 7 girls, all between 12 and 16, all targeted by the same woman in the same location using the same method. A pattern, that's what prosecutors call it. A systematic pattern of predatory behavior. And patterns are exactly what federal investigators need. Karen Vasquez appeared at my door at 9 p.m., eyes darting to the street behind her like she expected surveillance. Mr. Mitchell, I need to talk to you about Patricia. I recognized her, HOA treasurer, always beside the board chair at community meetings, always taking notes. I stepped aside, let her in, closed the door. She stood in my living room wringing her hands, wouldn't sit down, kept glancing toward the windows. You're scared, I said. Terrified. Her voice shook. I have 2 daughters, 13 and 15, and I've watched what she does to girls their age. Then why are you here? Karen's eyes filled with tears. Because my youngest asked me today what I would do if Mrs. Drummond did to her what she did to Lily. And I couldn't answer. I couldn't look my daughter in the eye and tell her I'd protect her when I've been enabling this for months. She pulled a USB drive from her purse, set it on my coffee table like it might explode. HOA meeting recordings from past year. The tyrant in heels discusses her compliance program in closed sessions. She shows videos to the board of girls in the changing room. Karen's hands shook. She keeps them on her phone, shows them during meetings, claims they're necessary documentation of rule violations. My prosecutor's mind sharpened. You've seen these videos? 3 times, different girls each time, all partially undressed, all crying. Patricia acts like it's normal, like we're supposed to just accept that this is appropriate oversight. Why didn't you report it? Karen's face crumpled. Because I'm a coward, because my landscaping business depends on HOA contracts that she controls. Because I watched her destroy the Hendricks family, the Castellanos, the Prasads, watched them all leave rather than fight her, and I told myself it wasn't my problem. She wiped her eyes. But it is my problem, because I signed off on it. I sat in those meetings and said nothing while she showed videos of children. I picked up the USB drive. What else is on here? Financial records. Patricia billed the community $15,000 for security upgrades to the fitness center last year. The invoice is from a company I can't verify exists. I think she swallowed hard. I think she used HOA money to install cameras in the changing rooms. The room felt suddenly colder. Hidden cameras? I don't have proof, but the billing doesn't match any legitimate security vendor. And the timing lines up with when the videos started appearing in board meetings. Karen sat down finally, shoulders slumped, defeated. She's showing your daughter's video at the next board meeting, Monday night. She told us yesterday she's using it as an example of parental failure to enforce community standards. She's going to recommend filing a complaint with your daughter's school, maybe even with child services. She's going to accuse me of neglect. She's going to destroy your family the same way she's destroyed every other family that challenged her. Karen looked at me directly. Unless you stop her first. I thought about the 4 families I'd talked to today, the 7 girls victimized, the systematic pattern spanning 2 years. I need you to testify, officially, everything you just told me, under oath. She'll retaliate. She'll cancel my contracts. She'll be in federal custody, I interrupted. Karen, what Patricia's done isn't civil. It's criminal, multiple felonies. I'm not filing HOA complaints. I'm coordinating with the FBI. Her eyes widened. FBI? Production of child exploitation material, illegal surveillance, wire fraud if she's embezzling funds. This is federal jurisdiction. I leaned forward. I can protect you from retaliation if you cooperate fully, but I need everything. The recordings, the financial documents, names of every board member who witnessed those videos. Karen was silent, wrestling with her decision. Her knee bounced nervously. She picked it. Her fingernails looked toward my front door like she might flee. My daughters? She finally whispered. If I don't stop her now, they could be next. Yes. She nodded slowly. Okay, I'll testify. I'll give you everything. Just promise me you'll actually stop her. That she won't just get a fine or probation. Promise me she'll face real consequences. I thought about Lily upstairs, still shaking, still trapped in trauma. Thought about Maya Hendricks, the Castellano twins, all the girls whose safe spaces had been violated. She's going to prison, I said. Federal prison, for years. Karen exhaled shakily. Then let's do it. The formal HOA notice arrived by certified mail 3 days later. 22 pages, legal-sized envelope, my signature required. I opened it at my kitchen table while Rachel made coffee neither of us would drink. Page 1, Lily Mitchell banned from fitness center, effective immediately. Reason? Aggressive noncompliance and disrespectful behavior toward board leadership. Fine. $2,500. Page 7, still images from the video. My daughter, partially undressed, face clearly visible, crying. Attached as documentation of violations. My hands clenched the paper so hard it tore. Page 12. Formal complaint filed with Lily's high school principal. The clipboard queen had sent a letter claiming behavioral concerns that may affect college eligibility and scholarship consideration. Rachel read over my shoulder, went pale. David, her scouts. The volleyball scouts are coming in 6 weeks. I knew. Lily needed that fitness center for conditioning. Without it, her scholarship chances evaporated. Everything she'd worked for, everything she and Rachel had rebuilt after the assault, gone. My phone buzzed. Lily's coach. Mr. Mitchell, we have a problem. 2 scouts just pulled out. Someone sent them documentation about Lily, behavioral issues, HOA violations, concerns about her judgment and responsibility. Who sent it? Anonymous email. but it included references to community facility incidents and ongoing legal disputes. His voice was tight with anger. "David, I know your daughter. This is character assassination. But the scouts don't know her. They're not taking chances on athletes with red flags." After we hung up, I sat staring at the HOA notice. Patricia Drummond wasn't just enforcing rules, she was systematically destroying my daughter's future. That afternoon, she posted in the Silver Lake Commons Facebook group. 700 members. I watched it happen in real time. Reminder to all residents, facility dress codes are mandatory and will be enforced. Recent incidents with teenage residents demonstrate the need for stricter oversight. Documentation protocols will be maintained to ensure compliance. Then she posted one of the still images. Lily's face was blurred, but her body was recognizable. The volleyball team jacket. The specific swimsuit she always wore. Within minutes, comments appeared, some defending the tyrant in heels, others horrified, neighbors taking sides, some I'd known for years suddenly questioning my parenting, my daughter's character, our family's respect for community standards. I screenshots everything before she could delete it. Evidence of distribution, evidence of public humiliation. Then I went upstairs. Lily was in her room, door closed, lights off. Rachel sat beside her on the bed, holding her hand. "Baby," I said softly. Lily didn't look at me. "Everyone knows, Dad. The whole community's seen that picture. Kids at school are talking about it. Someone sent the video to the group chat." My blood went cold. "The full video?" "Clips, enough." Her voice was hollow. "I can't go back to school. I can't go to the fitness center. I can't do anything without everyone staring at me like I'm some kind of..." She stopped, started crying. Rachel pulled her close, looked at me with eyes that said, "Fix this. Now." I knelt beside the bed. "Lily, listen to me. What she's doing is criminal, not inappropriate, not unethical, criminal. And I'm going to make sure she faces every consequence the law allows. But everyone's already seen it. Everyone knows. Then everyone will know what she really is when federal agents arrest her, when she's charged with exploiting children, when she goes to prison." I touched her cheek. "You didn't do anything wrong. She did, and justice is coming." But even as I said it, I watched my daughter retreat further into herself. Watched the confidence Rachel had spent 2 years rebuilding crumble in real time. That night, I received another letter. This one from Patricia herself. "Your daughter may regain fitness center privileges by appearing before the full HOA board for a compliance review and formal apology. This hearing will be recorded for community records and will address the patterns of defiance and disrespect your family has demonstrated. Failure to appear will result in additional fines and potential legal action for defamation of board leadership." She wanted Lily to stand before adults, on camera, and apologize for being victimized. I read it twice. Then I picked up my phone and called Monica Chen, my colleague who specialized in federal crimes against children. "Monica, I need FBI involvement, tonight, because this isn't stopping and my daughter's running out of time." "Send me everything," she said immediately. I did. The video, the notices, the Facebook posts, Karen's financial evidence, contact information for all 4 families. At midnight, Monica called back. "David, this is federal, absolutely federal. I'm contacting the FBI's Crimes Against Children unit first thing tomorrow. But you understand you can't prosecute this yourself? I know, conflict of interest. But I can coordinate. And if what Karen says about hidden cameras is true," Monica's voice hardened. "We're talking about a predatory surveillance operation. This woman's going to prison for decades." I hung up and stood at Lily's door, listening to her cry in her sleep. The officer of rules thought she'd won, thought she'd broken us. She had no idea the federal government was about to come for her. I arrived at my office in the county prosecutor's building at dawn, locked the door, and spread everything across my desk like a crime scene investigation. The video, the still images, Karen's USB drive, testimonies from 4 families, financial records showing $15,000 in suspicious charges. This wasn't father's rage anymore. This was prosecutorial analysis. I opened Virginia Criminal Code first. Section 18-2, 386.1, Unlawful Video Voyeurism. Recording a person in a state of undress in a private area where they have a reasonable expectation of privacy without consent. The changing room qualified. The recordings existed. Consent was explicitly denied. Lily's crying voice saying, "Please stop, prove that?" Felony. Up to 5 years. But that was just Virginia. I pulled up federal statutes. Title 18, Section 2251, Production of Child Sexual Abuse Material. Creating visual depictions of minors engaged in sexually explicit conduct, or creating depictions of minors in states of undress for the purpose of collection. The board chair had 43 seconds of a 16-year-old being ordered to strip. She'd saved it, shown it to others, distributed it online, federal felony, mandatory minimum 15 years. Section 2252, possession of such material. She had multiple videos, according to Karen, 11 different girls over 18 months. Each video, separate count, each count, 5 to 20 years. My phone rang. Monica Chen. "I need you to look at something. Don't react. Just analyze." She pulled up federal privacy statutes I hadn't considered. Wire fraud provisions. Interstate commerce implications. If the clipboard queen had shared videos across state lines. David, if she sent that Facebook post to 700 people, and even one of them lives outside Virginia, that's wire fraud. If she emailed images to college scouts in other states, that's distribution across state lines. The charges were stacking. Each action the tyrant in heels thought was legitimate authority was actually a separate federal crime. "I'm calling Special Agent Sarah Reeves," Monica said. "FBI's Child Exploitation Unit. She needs to see this immediately." An hour later, Sarah Reeves sat in my office. Mid-40s, 20 years with the Bureau, eyes that had seen too much and missed nothing. She watched Lily's video once. Her expression never changed, but her jaw tightened incrementally with each second. "This was taken yesterday?" she asked when it ended. 3 days ago. "And the subject is your daughter?" "Yes." She looked at me directly. "Mr. Mitchell, you understand I can't let personal connection influence this investigation. If we pursue federal charges, you'll be a witness, not a prosecutor." "I know. That's why Monica's here." Sarah nodded, turned to Monica. "What's your assessment?" "Multiple federal violations, production and possession of child sexual abuse material, illegal video voyeurism under federal privacy statutes, wire fraud if she distributed across state lines, obstruction if she's intimidating witnesses." Monica pulled up Karen's financial evidence, "and possible embezzlement of community funds to purchase surveillance equipment." "Surveillance equipment?" Sarah leaned forward. I explained Karen's discovery, the $15,000 charge, the non-existent security vendor, the suspicious timing. "You think she installed hidden cameras in the changing rooms?" "I think it's possible. Karen says the officer of rules has videos of 11 different girls, all in the same location, all in similar states of undress. That's a lot of compliance checks, unless she had another recording method." Sarah stood. "I need to see that changing room. Now." We drove to the fitness center. Sarah brought technical equipment, RF detectors, infrared scanners, tools I didn't recognize. The manager let us in, pale and nervous. "Am I in trouble?" "That depends," Sarah said. "Did you know about cameras in the changing areas?" "No. God, no. If I'd known..." "Then cooperate and you'll be fine." We entered the women's changing room. Sarah swept the space methodically, checked ventilation grates, examined light fixtures, tested smoke detectors. At the third grate, her detector spiked. "Here." She climbed on a bench, removed the grate cover. Behind it, a small camera, lens pointed directly at the changing bench. My stomach turned. Sarah photographed it from multiple angles. Didn't touch it yet. Moved to the second grate. Found another camera. 2 devices, both wireless, both recording to... She checked her scanner. An external server, not facility equipment. "Can you trace where the footage goes?" "With a warrant, yes." Sarah looked at me. "Mr. Mitchell, this isn't just privacy violations anymore. This is a predatory surveillance operation targeting minors. If she installed these cameras with community funds she embezzled, if she's been collecting footage of children for 18 months..." She stopped. "We're looking at decades in federal prison." Monica was already on her phone. "I'm calling the U.S. Attorney's Office. We need warrants for her devices, her home, the HOA servers. We need everything." Sarah carefully documented both cameras. "These stay in place until we have warrants. We'll execute simultaneously. her home, this facility, and the HOA office. Seize every device before she can destroy evidence. How long? I asked. 48 hours to get warrants approved, maybe less if we move it as emergency child protection. I thought about Lily at home, still crying, about the board meeting Monday where Patricia planned to show the video again, about all the girls whose images were being stored somewhere on that external server. Move it as emergency, I said, because she's not stopping, and every day she has access to those cameras is another day she's collecting footage. Sarah nodded. Then let's build this case right, federal charges, full prosecution. And, Mr. Mitchell? She met my eyes. Your daughter's going to get justice. I promise you that. I believed her, because I'd just watched a federal agent discover evidence of systematic child exploitation. And the woman who'd victimized my daughter had no idea federal law enforcement was coming. Lily's volleyball coach called again at noon. His voice was tight with barely controlled anger. David, I just got off the phone with UVA's recruiting coordinator. They're withdrawing their scholarship offer. The room tilted. What? Someone sent them a comprehensive report. Documentation of HOA violations, behavioral complaints, concerns about judgment and character. They're not taking chances on athletes with unresolved legal issues. He paused. David, this is coordinated character assassination, and it's working. After we hung up, I sat staring at my desk. The University of Virginia, Lily's dream school, full athletic scholarship, 4 years of stability and purpose, gone because Patricia Drummond had weaponized her authority to destroy a 16-year-old's future. I went home, found Rachel in the kitchen, phone pressed to her ear, tears streaming down her face. Thank you for letting me know, she said quietly, then hung up. What happened? Virginia Tech just pulled their offer too. Same documentation, same concerns. She looked at me with devastation in her eyes. David, she's contacting every school on Lily's list. She's systematically eliminating every scholarship opportunity our daughter has. I climbed the stairs to Lily's room. She was sitting on her bed, staring at nothing, her volleyball beside her, the one signed by her high school team, the one that represented years of work and dreams. Baby, I need to talk to you. She didn't look at me. I already know. Coach told me about UVA. We're going to fix this. How? Her voice was hollow. The board chair has destroyed my reputation. Every college scout thinks I'm some kind of problem athlete. Every kid at school has seen that video. Everyone in the community thinks I'm... She stopped, wiped her eyes. Maybe I should just quit volleyball, quit everything. Maybe we should just move. I sat beside her, and for the first time in 3 days, she leaned into me. 2 years ago, you told me you wanted to play college volleyball like Mom did. You said it was your way of keeping her memory alive. Lily's mother had played volleyball at William and Mary before a car accident ended her career. Rachel had passed that love to our daughter from the moment she could hold a ball. I'm not strong enough, Lily whispered. I thought I was getting better, but I'm not. The tyrant in heels broke me just like... She couldn't finish. No, she violated you. She traumatized you. But you're not broken. You're wounded, and wounds heal. I turned her face toward mine. And while you heal, I'm going to make sure she faces consequences that will protect every other girl in this community. How? The FBI is involved now. Federal agents, real charges, not HOA complaints. I showed her my phone, Sarah Reeves's contact information, the warrant applications Monica was filing. Baby, what she did to you wasn't rule enforcement. It was federal criminal activity. And she's going to prison for it. Lily looked at the phone, then at me. Will that fix my scholarships? Once the truth comes out, once everyone knows she was operating a predatory surveillance system, once federal charges are public, yes, the schools will understand, the scouts will understand. But that takes time. Signing day is in 4 months. She was right. Justice moved slowly. Lily's future was collapsing rapidly. That evening, another letter arrived from the Officer of Rules. Same demand. Appear before the board Monday night for compliance review and formal apology. Same threat. Failure to appear would result in additional fines, possible liens, expanded complaints to educational institutions. The hearing was 3 days away. Rachel read it and looked at me with fear. She wants Lily to apologize on camera for being victimized. David, we can't let that happen. We won't. Then what do we do? I thought about Sarah Reeves and her promise of warrants within 48 hours. Thought about Monica coordinating with the U.S. Attorney's Office. Thought about the hidden cameras still recording in that changing room, still collecting evidence of the clipboard queen's crimes. We let her think she's won, I said. We confirm Lily will attend Monday's hearing. We let Patricia Drummond believe she's about to humiliate another family into submission. And then federal agents arrest her before she ever walks into that meeting. Rachel's eyes widened. You're going to coordinate the arrest for Monday? I'm going to make sure she's in federal custody before she can hurt anyone else. Before she can show Lily's video to a room full of neighbors. Before she can force my daughter to apologize for being exploited. I called Monica. Move everything to Monday morning. Coordinate the raid for dawn. I want her arrested before that board meeting happens. If you've ever watched someone systematically destroy your child and had to wait for justice, hit subscribe right now. Monica was quiet for a moment. You're sure about the timing? Completely sure, because that woman thinks she's untouchable, and I want her in handcuffs before she realizes she never was. Karen Vasquez returned Friday night with 2 cardboard boxes and terror in her eyes. I can't sleep, she said at my door. Can't eat. My daughters keep asking why I'm scared, and I keep lying to them because I don't want them to know their mother's been complicit in child exploitation for 18 months. I brought her inside. Rachel made tea nobody touched. Karen opened the first box. Complete HOA financial records. 3 years. Every transaction the tyrant in heels authorized. Every vendor she hired. Every expense she approved. She pulled out highlighted spreadsheets. The $15,000 for security upgrades went to a company called SecureView Solutions. I searched everything. Business registrations, tax records, contractor licenses. The company doesn't exist. Where did the money actually go? Patricia's personal LLC. She created a shell company, billed the HOA, then transferred the funds to herself. Karen's hands shook as she spread bank statements across my coffee table. But that's not the worst part. She opened the second box. Inside, a tablet, external hard drive, and printed transcripts. I copied everything from the HOA's shared drive before she could delete it. Meeting recordings where she discusses her compliance program. Video files labeled by date and resident name. David, her voice cracked. There are 47 video files, 11 different girls, some recorded multiple times over months. My blood went cold. I watched 3 of them. I couldn't watch more. Karen wiped her eyes. They're all the same. The board chair corners girls in the changing room, locks the door, orders them to remove clothing while she records. Some of the girls are completely undressed by the end. All of them are crying. Rachel covered her mouth. 47 videos. And she showed them in board meetings, made us watch, told us this was necessary oversight to maintain community standards. Some board members questioned her, asked if this was appropriate. She shut them down immediately. Said anyone who didn't support her compliance program was enabling rule violations and would be removed from the board. How many board members saw these videos? I asked. All 5 of us, every closed session for the past year. She'd pull up her phone, play clips, walk us through why each girl needed correction. I sat there and watched children being violated and told myself it wasn't my place to interfere. Karen looked at me with shame and desperation. My landscaping business brings in $60,000 a year. Half my income comes from HOA contracts that the Officer of Rules controls. I convinced myself that speaking up would destroy my family financially, that staying silent was just being practical. What changed? My youngest daughter, Rebecca. She came to me yesterday and said, "Mom, if Mrs. Drummond does that to me, would you protect me?" Karen's face crumpled, and I realized I'd been choosing money over children, that I'd been enabling a predator because it was easier than being brave. She pushed the tablet toward me. Everything's on here, meeting recordings, financial transactions, video files stored on the HOA server, and contact information for every board member who witnessed this and said nothing. They're all complicit, Rachel said quietly. Yes, we are. Karen looked at her hands. I'll testify to everything. I'll provide documentation. I'll face whatever consequences come from my silence. But please, her voice broke, please make sure the tyrant in heels can't do this to anyone else, including my daughters. I opened the tablet, saw folders labeled with dates, clicked one at random. The video started playing. A 13-year-old girl, crying, being ordered to turn around, lift her shirt, showed that her swimsuit met standards. I closed it, couldn't watch more. Sarah Reeves needs to see this immediately. The FBI agent? Yes, this is evidence of systematic child exploitation. Every video is a separate federal charge. I pulled out my phone. Karen, you're going to walk through every detail of what you witnessed with federal investigators. Tomorrow, can you do that? She nodded. Will I be charged too? Possibly, but Monica's already drafting an immunity agreement. You testify truthfully, provide all evidence, appear at trial, and you'll be shielded from prosecution. What about the other board members? They made their choices. They'll face their consequences. Karen exhaled shakily. When will the clipboard queen be arrested? Monday morning, before dawn, before she can show Lily's video at that board meeting, before she can hurt anyone else. Good. Karen stood, picked up her purse. My daughters deserve a mother who protects children, even if it's 18 months too late. After she left, Rachel looked at me. 47 videos, 11 children, all of them saved and distributed by someone the community trusted. All of them evidence now, I said. Every single video the board chair thought was documentation is actually proof of federal crimes. Monday couldn't come fast enough. Saturday morning, I sat in a secure conference room at the FBI field office with Sarah Reeves, Monica Chen, and 2 other federal agents I hadn't met before. Karen's evidence spread across the table like an autopsy of systematic abuse. 47 videos, Sarah said, scrolling through the tablet. 11 victims, ages 12 to 16 at the time of recording, all showing minors in various states of undress, all recorded without consent in a private changing area. Agent Marcus Webb, computer crime specialist, was analyzing the metadata. These files were created over 18 months, regular intervals. She's been doing this consistently since, he checked his screen, January 2 years ago. When did the security upgrade happen? Sarah asked. I pulled Karen's financial records. March, same year, 2 months after the first video appears in HOA records. So she installed the cameras, then started conducting compliance checks as cover for why she needed changing room access. Sarah's jaw tightened. This was premeditated, planned. She used HOA funds to build a surveillance system specifically to target children. Monica was building the charging document. Production of child sexual abuse material. 47 counts, 1 per video. Possession, ongoing. Illegal video voyeurism under federal statutes, 47 counts. Wire fraud. She used HOA funds and internet distribution. Embezzlement, $15,000. Distribution? I asked. She showed these videos to 5 board members repeatedly. That's distribution. She posted still images on Facebook. More distribution. She emailed images to college scouts. Interstate distribution. Monica looked up. Each instance is a separate federal charge. Agent Webb pulled up the surveillance footage. The hidden cameras are still active, still recording. I've traced the signal. It goes to an external server registered to the tyrant in Heel's personal address. She's been collecting footage continuously for 2 years. How much footage total? We won't know until we seize the server, but based on camera capability and storage, potentially thousands of hours. Every girl who used that changing room in the past 2 years was recorded without knowledge or consent. The room went silent. Sarah stood, paced to the window. We're not just talking about the 11 girls in these videos. We're talking about every teenage girl in that community who used the fitness center. Potentially hundreds of victims. What about the board members? I asked. Karen says they all watched the videos in closed sessions. Witnesses at minimum, potentially accessories if they knew it was illegal and did nothing. Sarah turned back. But our primary target is Patricia Drummond. We get her first, then build cases against anyone who enabled her. Monica finished the charging document. 14 federal counts, mandatory minimum 25 years if convicted on all counts. Realistically, she's looking at 40 to 50 years. When do we execute warrants? Sarah asked. Monday, 6 a.m. Simultaneous raids, her home, the fitness center, the HOA office. Seize every device before she can destroy evidence. She'll try, Agent Webb said. The moment she knows we're coming, she'll wipe everything. We need total surprise. I thought about the board meeting scheduled for Monday at 7 p.m. The clipboard queen thought she'd be standing before the community, showing Lily's video, forcing my daughter to apologize. Instead, she'd be in federal detention. What about my daughter? I asked. The hearing, Monday night? Won't happen, Sarah said firmly. The officer of rules will be in custody. The HOA will be in chaos, and your daughter will be safe. Will this go public immediately? The arrest will. We'll hold a press conference Monday afternoon. Let the community know their HOA president was operating a child exploitation operation. Let every parent know their children may have been victimized. Monica looked at me carefully. David, you understand you can't be involved in the prosecution. Conflict of interest. I'll handle the federal case with Sarah's team. I know. But you'll be a witness. Lily will be a witness. This will be public, painful, and exhausting. I thought about my daughter upstairs, still broken, still scared, still believing the tyrant in heels had won. Lily needs to see that fighting back works, that predators face consequences, that justice exists. I met Monica's eyes. Whatever it takes, however long it takes, we're doing this. Sarah nodded. Then let's make sure this case is airtight. No technicalities, no appeals, no early release. She picked up Karen's tablet. We're going to bury her under so much evidence that she'll plead guilty just to avoid trial. Agent Webb was already coordinating with the raid team. 6 a.m. Monday, full tactical. We're treating this as a child endangerment emergency. No knock warrant approved. 72 hours until arrest. 72 hours until the board chair learned that authority doesn't protect predators from federal consequences. I drove home, walked upstairs, found Lily in her room. Monday morning, I said softly. Everything changes Monday morning. She looked at me with eyes that wanted to believe but couldn't quite manage it. Trust me, baby? Just a little longer. Sunday evening, I did something that felt counterintuitive but was strategically necessary. I confirmed Lily's attendance at Monday's board hearing. The email to Patricia Drummond was brief, professional, compliant. Lily will attend the compliance review as requested, Monday 7 p.m. We understand the hearing will be recorded per HOA protocols. Rachel stared at me like I'd lost my mind. You're agreeing to this? I'm letting the tyrant in heels think she's won, making sure she walks into Monday feeling confident, comfortable, completely unaware. Unaware of what? That at 6 a.m., 12 hours before that hearing, federal agents will raid her home with arrest warrants. The response from the board chair came within minutes. Excellent. Your daughter's cooperation will be noted. The board expects a full acknowledgement of rule violations and commitment to future compliance. This hearing represents an opportunity for your family to demonstrate respect for community standards. I showed Rachel the message. Her expression hardened. She actually thinks Lily's going to apologize. She thinks authority is absolute, that families will always break before she does. I forwarded the email to Sarah Reeves. She has no concept that federal law enforcement is coming, Sarah called immediately. She took the bait. Good. Means she's not suspicious, not destroying evidence, not preparing for consequences. Everything ready for tomorrow? Warrants signed, tactical team briefed. We hit her house at 6 a.m. sharp. No knock entry due to destruction of evidence concerns. Simultaneous teams at the fitness center and HOA office. Sarah paused. David, this is going to be loud. Public. Every neighbor will see federal agents arresting their HOA president. Are you prepared for that? I'm prepared for justice. Monica Chen had been working nonstop on the prosecution strategy. She called at 9 p.m. with updates. U.S. Attorney approved the charging document. 14 federal counts. We're also pursuing civil asset forfeiture. Her home was purchased partly with embezzled HOA funds. She'll lose everything. What about the other victims? I asked. The families who left. I've contacted all of them. 4 families confirmed they will testify. The Castellanos, Hendricks, Prasads, Morgans, all willing to put their daughters on the stand if necessary. Monica's voice softened. David, these families have been waiting years for someone to believe them, for someone to take action. You're giving them that. After we hung up, I contacted each family personally, warned them arrests were imminent, explained the timeline. Mrs. Castellano cried. My daughters can finally stop having nightmares about the clipboard queen showing up at their new school. Tom Hendricks said, Maya asked me yesterday if she could watch the arrest happen. I told her justice doesn't work that way, but maybe knowing it's happening will be enough. The Prasads were quiet for a long moment. Then Mr. Prasad said simply, "Thank you for having the courage we didn't." I spent Sunday night preparing Lily, sat with her in her room, explained what was coming. Tomorrow morning, before you wake up, federal agents will arrest Patricia Drummond. By the time you get to school, everyone will know. The news will cover it. The community will be in chaos. And the hearing? Canceled. She'll be in federal custody. You won't have to apologize. You won't have to face her. You'll never have to see her again except possibly at trial. And that's your choice. Lily was quiet, processing. Will people believe me now about what she did? Baby, when federal agents arrest someone for child exploitation, when they seize evidence of systematic abuse, when they charge someone with 47 counts, yes, people will believe you. What about my scholarships? Once the truth is public, once every college understands you were victimized by a predator, not violating rules, they'll come back. I promise. She leaned against me. I'm scared. Of what? That she'll find a way out. That authority will protect her like it always does. I thought about Sarah Reeves's team, Monica's prosecution strategy, the 14 federal charges with mandatory minimum sentences. Thought about the hidden cameras still recording, the server full of evidence, the financial records proving embezzlement. Authority doesn't protect predators from federal consequences, I said. The officer of rules is about to learn that the hard way. At midnight, I received final confirmation from Sarah. All teams in position. Execution at 0600 hours. Expect arrest by 0615. I set my alarm for 5:30. Wanted to be awake when it happened. Wanted to know the exact moment the woman who'd violated my daughter was taken into custody. Rachel found me at 2 a.m., unable to sleep, sitting in the dark. What if something goes wrong? She whispered. Nothing's going wrong. Sarah's team has done this hundreds of times. The evidence is overwhelming. The warrants are signed. The tyrant in heels has no idea what's coming. And if she destroys evidence before they get there? Agent Webb is monitoring her devices remotely. If she tries to delete anything, they'll move immediately. Rachel sat beside me. Our daughter's been through so much. The assault, the therapy, finally healing, and then this woman. She stopped. I need her to pay, David, not just legally. I need her to understand what she's done. She will, in federal court, in front of cameras, in front of every family she's destroyed. I took Rachel's hand. And then in federal prison for decades. 4 hours until the raid. 4 hours until the board chair learned that recording children wasn't documentation. It was evidence of her own crimes, and evidence sent predators to prison. My phone buzzed at 6:07 a.m. Sarah Reeves. Entry executed, subject in custody, no injuries. I stood at my bedroom window, looking toward Patricia Drummond's house 3 blocks away. Couldn't see it from here, but I imagined federal agents flooding through her door, seizing devices, reading charges while neighbors watched from windows. Rachel appeared beside me. Is it done? She's in custody. My wife exhaled like she'd been holding her breath for days. Thank God, Sarah called at 6:20. We've got her, arrested in her driveway trying to leave for an early HOA meeting. She had 3 phones, 2 tablets, and a laptop in her car, all seized. She tried to claim immunity as a community official. I explained federal law doesn't recognize HOA immunity for child exploitation. How'd she react? Shock, genuine confusion about why we were there. She kept saying she was documenting rule violations, that everything was legitimate oversight. David, Sarah's voice hardened. She genuinely doesn't understand she committed crimes. She thinks her authority justified everything. What about the other locations? Fitness center team found the cameras, seized the server. Preliminary scan shows over 2,000 hours of recorded footage. HOA office team secured all computers and financial records. We've got everything. By 7 a.m., news helicopters circled Silver Lake Commons. Local stations led with breaking news. HOA president arrested on federal child exploitation charges. My phone exploded with calls, neighbors demanding information, parents panicking about whether their daughters were victims, HOA board members trying to distance themselves from the tyrant in heels. I ignored most of them, called Karen Vasquez. It's done, I said. She's in federal, Custody. Karen was crying. I just told my daughters. They're safe now. Rebecca keeps saying she can't hurt us anymore. Like she's trying to convince herself it's real. It's real. Federal agents don't make mistakes with cases like this. At 9 a.m., the FBI held a press conference. Sarah Reeves stood before cameras with the kind of calm authority that made people listen. This morning, federal agents arrested Patricia Drummond, 47, president of the Silver Lake Commons HOA, on 14 federal charges related to the exploitation of minor children. The charges include production and possession of child sexual abuse material, illegal video voyeurism, wire fraud, and embezzlement of community funds. She paused while reporters shouted questions. Ms. Drummond allegedly installed hidden surveillance equipment in the community fitness center, changing rooms using embezzled HOA funds. Over 18 months, she recorded approximately 2,000 hours of footage showing minor females in various states of undress. She also allegedly conducted what she called compliance checks, forcing teenage girls to remove clothing while she recorded them on personal devices. The press conference went viral within an hour. National news picked it up. Legal analysts discussed the case. Parents' groups used it as a warning about unchecked authority. My phone rang. Monica Chen. Detention hearing is this afternoon, 2 p.m., federal courthouse. She's arguing for release pending trial. Will they grant it? Not a chance. Not with 47 videos of children and evidence she tried to flee with devices this morning. Judge will remand her to custody. At noon, I received calls from 3 more families. Parents who'd never reported incidents because they thought they'd be dismissed. Mothers who'd watched the clipboard queen photograph their daughters and convinced themselves it was normal. Each call was the same. We didn't know it was illegal. We thought we had to comply. Can our daughters still testify? Yes, every victim mattered. Every testimony would bury her deeper. Lily came downstairs at 1 p.m., saw the news coverage, and stopped. Everyone knows, she whispered. Everyone knows what she did, I corrected. Everyone knows you were victimized by a predator. That's different than everyone judging you. She watched Patricia Drummond's mugshot flash across the screen. The officer of rules in an orange jumpsuit, no longer smiling, no longer confident. She looks scared. She should be. She's facing decades in federal prison. Good. Lily's voice was stronger than I'd heard in days. I hope she's terrified. I hope she feels exactly how she made me feel. At 2 p.m., Monica sent updates from the detention hearing. Judge denied bail, called her a danger to the community and flight risk, remanded to federal detention pending trial, next hearing in 2 weeks. The board chair wouldn't be going home, wouldn't be attending any more HOA meetings, wouldn't be near any children ever again. By evening, the community Facebook group had imploded. The post where Patricia had shared Lily's image was being used as evidence. Parents were demanding the entire board resign. Some families were planning lawsuits. I sat with Lily and Rachel, watching coverage, feeling something I hadn't felt in weeks. Relief. Not satisfaction. Not victory yet. Just relief that the immediate threat was contained. That the woman who'd terrorized my daughter was behind bars. That justice, slow and methodical, was finally moving. Dad, Lily said quietly, when will the trial be? Months, maybe a year. But Monica thinks she'll plead guilty to avoid putting you girls through testimony. What if I want to testify? What if I want her to hear what she did to me? I looked at my daughter, 16 years old, assault survivor, PTSD patient, and now the catalyst for taking down a predator. Then you testify, and I'll be right there with you. The federal detention hearing happened 3 days after the arrest. Monica Chen prosecuting. Patricia Drummond's defense attorney, a nervous man named Robert Walsh, arguing for release pending trial. I sat in the gallery with Rachel and Lily. My daughter insisted on attending. I need to see her face when the judge says no. The courtroom was packed, media in the back rows, other victims' families scattered throughout. Karen Vasquez sat 2 rows behind us, hands clasped tight. The tyrant in heels entered in an orange jumpsuit, wrists shackled, looking smaller somehow, less certain. She scanned the courtroom, found me, and her expression hardened into something between hatred and disbelief. Judge Marion Foster, A woman in her 60s, federal bench for 20 years, reviewed the case file with the kind of careful attention that made lawyers nervous. Walsh stood first. Your Honor, my client has no criminal history. She's a respected community leader, employed, with deep ties to the area. She poses no flight risk and requests release pending trial. Mr. Walsh, Judge Foster said, without looking up, your client is charged with 47 counts of producing child sexual abuse material. Tell me why the court should release someone who allegedly spent 18 months systematically recording minor children in states of undress. The allegations are, my client maintains these were legitimate compliance documentation for community standards. Compliance documentation. The judge finally looked up. Of children removing their clothing in locked changing rooms while crying? Walsh faltered. Your Honor, Ms. Chen, the government's position? Monica stood, calm and precise. The government requests detention pending trial. The defendant represents a clear danger to the community, specifically to minor children. She allegedly used her position as HOA president to target vulnerable teenage girls over 18 months. She installed hidden surveillance, equipment using embezzled funds. She recorded approximately 2,000 hours of footage showing minors in private changing areas. Judge Foster leaned forward. 2,000 hours? Yes, Your Honor. The FBI seized servers containing footage of every girl who used the fitness center changing rooms over 2 years, potentially hundreds of victims. The courtroom erupted in whispers. Parents in the gallery looked at each other with horror. Lily gripped my hand. Monica continued. The defendant also distributed this material. She showed videos to HOA board members in closed meetings. She posted images on social media. She emailed still photographs to college recruiting offices in multiple states. That's interstate distribution of child exploitation material. What about destruction of evidence concerns? The morning of her arrest, agents found the defendant attempting to leave her residence with multiple devices. She tried to delete files from her phone during booking. The clipboard queen is a sophisticated actor who understands technology and has demonstrated willingness to destroy evidence. Judge Foster turned to Walsh. Your response? Your Honor, my client was simply going to an early meeting. With 3 phones, 2 tablets, and a laptop, at 6 a.m., the judge's skepticism was evident. Ms. Chen, does the government have additional evidence to present? Yes, Your Honor. We'd like to show one piece of video evidence. Content warning, this involves a minor victim. The judge nodded. Proceed. Monica played Lily's video. 43 seconds. The courtroom went absolutely silent. Patricia Drummond's voice, cold and commanding. Remove the shirt. Turn around. Lily's voice breaking. Please, I just want to leave. This is documentation. You have no choice. When it ended, Judge Foster sat back. Her expression was carefully controlled, but her jaw was tight. Mr. Mitchell, she said, looking at me. You're the victim's father? I stood. Yes, Your Honor. I understand you're also the county district attorney? Yes, Your Honor. I've recused myself from prosecuting this case due to conflict of interest. But you have professional expertise in these matters. Tell me, in your experience as a prosecutor, what is the impact of this type of exploitation on minor victims? Devastating, Your Honor. My daughter is a sexual assault survivor. She'd spent 2 years in trauma therapy, rebuilding her sense of bodily autonomy. This incident, being cornered, ordered to strip, recorded without consent by an authority figure, triggered complete PTSD regression. She stopped eating, stopped sleeping, lost college scholarship opportunities because the officer of rules sent this footage to recruiting offices. And the other victims? Similar patterns. Girls developing anxiety disorders, requiring therapy, families forced to leave the community because their daughters couldn't handle being near the fitness center anymore. Judge Foster looked at Patricia Drummond. Ms. Drummond, do you understand the charges against you? The board chair stood. Your Honor, I was enforcing community standards. As HOA president, I have authority. You have no authority to record children in changing rooms. You have no authority to demand minors remove clothing. You have no authority that supersedes federal law protecting children from exploitation. The judge's voice was ice. Bail is denied. You are remanded to federal custody pending trial. You represent a clear danger to minor children and a substantial flight risk given the severity of charges. Preliminary hearing is set for 2 weeks from today. Patricia Drummond's face went white. Your Honor, please. This hearing is concluded. Federal marshals let her out. As she passed our row, she looked at Lily. My daughter met her eyes and didn't look away. The tyrant in heels broke first, looked down, kept walking. Outside the courthouse, media swarmed. Monica handled questions while I got my family to the car. "Dad," Lily said as we drove away, "she's really not getting out?" "She's really not getting out. Federal detention until trial, then federal prison for decades." "Good." My daughter stared out the window. "I want to testify. When it goes to trial, I want to tell everyone what she did." Rachel looked at me over Lily's head. I nodded. "Then you'll testify," I said, "and the whole world will know the truth." 6 months later, I stood outside the Silver Lake Commons Fitness Center, watching my daughter warm up for a college showcase. Patricia Drummond had pleaded guilty to 12 federal counts 3 weeks earlier, 18 years in federal prison, no possibility of parole. The plea deal spared the victims from testifying, but Lily had prepared a victim impact statement the judge read in open court. The tyrant in heels sat in that courtroom and heard exactly what she'd done, heard how she destroyed a 16-year-old's sense of safety, heard how families fled, how girls developed PTSD, how her compliance program was nothing but systematic child exploitation. She'd cried, apologized, said she never meant to cause harm. The judge sentenced her anyway. Intent doesn't matter when the harm is this profound. The fitness center had been completely renovated, new management, new privacy protocols, every changing room redesigned with proper security measures and strict oversight. The hidden cameras were gone, replaced by visible security that protected rather than violated. The bench where Lily was cornered, removed. In its place, a memorial plaque, safe spaces, strong voices, in honor of the courage to speak up. Lily touched it every time she entered the building now, a reminder that she'd survived, that she'd fought back, that predators faced consequences. "Mr. Mitchell?" I turned. Mrs. Castellano stood beside me, her twin daughters warming up with Lily. "Thank you," she said quietly. "My girls are swimming again, competing again. They couldn't do that 6 months ago. They're strong kids. They're survivors, like your daughter." She watched the girls stretch. The civil settlement came through last week. The HOA's insurance paid $4.7 million across all 11 families. It's not justice, but it helps with therapy costs. The HOA had dissolved entirely after the arrest, reformed with new leadership, mandatory background checks, financial oversight, and a victims' rights committee. Parents now controlled the board. Accountability was mandatory. Tom Hendricks approached with his daughter Maya. "David, Maya wanted to tell you something." The girl, 17 now, healthier than when I'd first talked to Tom, looked at me directly. "Thank you for believing us, for making it stop, for showing me that silence isn't the only option." She smiled. "I'm testifying at a state hearing next month about HOA oversight reform, using my voice to protect other kids." That's what victory looked like, not just one predator imprisoned, but survivors finding their voices, systems changing, communities protecting children instead of enabling abuse. Rachel appeared with coffee. "Scouts from UVA and Virginia Tech are both here. William and Mary sent someone too." All 3 schools had reinstated their scholarship offers once the truth came out. Once everyone understood Lily wasn't a problem athlete, she was a survivor who'd been targeted by the clipboard queen's retaliation. "Which school is she leaning toward?" Mrs. Castellano asked. "UVA," Rachel said. "Full scholarship. Starts in August." I watched my daughter dive into the pool, watched her cut through water with the strength and grace her mother would have been proud of. No fear in her strokes now, no hesitation, just power and purpose. She touched the wall, looked up at the stands, found me, smiled. That smile, genuine, unafraid, triumphant, was worth every sleepless night, every legal battle, every moment of controlled rage transformed into surgical prosecution. After the showcase, college scouts surrounded Lily with offers and praise. She handled it with confidence I hadn't seen in months. In the parking lot, she hugged me tight. "Mom would be proud of you," she whispered. "She'd be proud of you, baby. You survived, you fought, you won." "We won," she corrected. That evening, the local news ran a follow-up story. 6 months after HOA president's arrest, community heals. They interviewed families, showed the renovated fitness center, discussed the systemic reforms, mentioned that the officer of rules would serve 18 years in federal prison. But the story that mattered wasn't about Patricia Drummond. It was about 11 girls who'd been victimized and found justice, about a community that learned accountability matters, about parents who now understood that authority must be questioned, challenged, and held to the same laws that protect children. I thought about that 43-second video, the evidence that started everything. The recording the board chair made so carefully, so certain of her authority. That video put her in prison and freed my daughter. If you've ever had to fight someone who abused their power, share this story. Tell others that predators don't win when communities stand together. Drop a comment about where you're watching from, and hit subscribe for more stories about ordinary people finding extraordinary courage to protect their children. Because sometimes the greatest victories come from refusing to let authority corrupt into abuse. Justice isn't always fast, but when you have evidence, expertise, and the absolute refusal to accept exploitation as normal, justice becomes inevitable. Patricia Drummond learned that the hard way, and Silver Lake Commons learned that protecting children always matters more than protecting authority. The fitness center plaque says it best. Safe spaces, strong voices. My daughter has both now, and that's everything.